On Can I Meet You right now, we're going to be chatting with a gentleman who is part of a forum called Technologies That May Change the Future. Mike Mullen, you're with Stimulation Petrophysics.
That's correct. It's just a small consulting company involved in integrating several disciplines from petrophysics to stimulation to reservoir modeling.
Okay, now you were here giving your, I guess, sense of what the future holds. Tell us about it right now on Can I Media.
Well, I think the future is involved in. My part of this discussion was more in the soft technologies, was the education of training the younger generation, starting in elementary school, that we don't really do a very good job of, educating the things that we take for granted as gray hairs in the industry, that we've forgotten the fundamentals. What's a unit of a mudlog? Don't know. So and then working problems by hand. That's how we started our career, working problems by hand. And now the younger generation comes in, they push a couple of buttons on a computer, and it gives them an answer. Well, there's a depth of knowledge that's missing. So that's one of the areas, handling mass amounts of data. My son works in aerospace, and he has never seen a industry that uses and acquires so much data that they have to digest and synthesize and process.
As far as the petroleum industry?
The petroleum industry. Yes, and so how do you handle gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, or whatever that is? The use of some of the online storage like the cloud. Can we store seismic data up there that may be in the public venue that we can have access to? Or well files. Right now, most of it's paper on the hundreds of thousands of wells that are old. There's some wells that are new that have good digital records. But if I wanted to do completion optimization, I need to do my petrophysical analysis across the interval that was completed. Oh, what was prepped? What was stimulated? How did they stimulate it? How do I help me understand, or my clients, how to help them understand how to improve the next well when I have no idea where the perforations were. I have no idea what they actually pumped. And, I have to wait 6 or 8 months to get the production. So there's a lot of improvements that we can make there.
Well, and it's interesting because one of the comments that came out of your session as well was the fact that this is one of the most technologically advanced industries out there. But it sounds like the record keeping and keeping tabs of all that information is lagging behind.
It's very intensive. We've been through the industry's been through a period of managing costs. And, when's the last time you saw an oil and gas company that had an advertising department? That died in the 30s. So we haven't worked on our public image very.
You're being forced to now, though, aren't you?
We're being forced to. When I've been involved in some of the regulatory agencies asking questions, they're asking me questions about some of the claims that were made in some of the public media things, fomentaries, documentaries, that not always true. They were really taken aback because they had their constituents, their citizens that were asking them really hard questions, and we're going, we don't know. We're regulating this business, but our background is not in the industry. Their background may be in finance or public social service, or so there was very few people that actually understood the industry that was coming, that were making, that were really caught unaware.
This is all part of, I guess one of the statements you made is that you've got to try and get the public to go from skepticism to trust.
That's correct, and that has a lot to do with the stakeholders, and I think we're seeing a lot more information about the industry coming into stakeholders' hands. They can make better decisions. on whether to lease, is it safe, the operation that's going on the adjacent farm or underneath their land, and they need factual information. And by and large, I think the industry's been pretty slow on that, disseminating that kind of information. You're starting to see some of that come into the mainline media, so that you can see on the evening newscast. So that's, I think, a good point to be able to show somebody, refer them to when they're somebody's asking questions, like Doug Valou was mentioning this evening or this afternoon. And you're in a grocery line and somebody makes a comment about the rascally oil field, or they're just destroying everything. So yeah, it's a lot of it is the soft side, the public image, but it's education of what we do.
Mike, thank you very much for your time.
Alrighty, thank you very much for asking.
We've been chatting with Mike Mullen here on Can I Media.